There's a new me coming out, and I just have to live, and I wanna give. I'm completely positive. I think this time around I am gonna do it like you never knew it. Oh, I'll make it through. The time has come for me to break out of the shell. I have to shout that I am coming out. I'm coming out. I want the world to know.
Welcome to the show, Never Too Late Ever, where we focus on making the next chapter of your life the very best chapter ever. I am your host, Lorraine Hoving, and I am thrilled that you are here today. This day could change your life. Open your heart, open your ears, and listen. You may find a gem, a treasure that you can apply to your life today, and that is my wish for you today, and that is my guest wish today. And my guest today is a good friend. Her name is Loretta Brooks, and you are going to love her. Hi, Loretta. How are you?
Great, Lorraine. Thanks for having me on.
Well, let's get started. Let me tell you a little bit about Loretta. Loretta is a life coach who works directly from her personal experience, sharing the same principles that she has used in her own life for over 15 years. After earning a degree in business accounting from the Pennsylvania State University and becoming a CPA, Loretta worked 20 plus years in the hospitality industry as a project leader. When her career began taking a toll on her health, and we've all been there, and relationships, she researched wellness and got to work to create a brand new life for herself. She lost over 50 pounds. How long ago was that, Loretta?
That was 13 years ago. Yeah.
13 years ago. She got involved in her community with music and renewed her very important relationships. Everything was going as planned until life dealt two huge, and I say huge, blows. The sudden death of her husband, followed by the loss of her job. And how long were you married to your husband when you lost him?
Oh, boy. I don't know, at least 22 years at that point.
Yeah, so a long yeah. So this was a a huge blow, both of these. So applying everything she had already learned about change and upheaval, Loretta put into place a daily discipline to rebuild her life. That's amazing, while staying focused on taking precious care of what she had. Since then, she has been committed to dedicate the rest of her life to helping others be resilient and inspire them to keep going despite the odds and challenges they must face. So, Loretta, this is a program where you are talking from experience because you have had huge losses in your life. So we are ready to listen. First of all, my first question is, I like to ask this of my guests, what wakes you up on fire in the morning? Because you are an on fire person. Confession time here, Loretta and I have been roommates at conferences, so she knows a lot about me, right, Loretta?
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah. So what wakes you up on fire each morning to tackle the day?
Well, I actually, and not to be sort of morbid about it, but actually the fact that I know life is so precious, right? You don't know what's going to happen. Things can turn on a dime or less. And the fact that I can now say, yeah, I'm going to die one day, and I want to make today be the day that I'm going to seize, I'm going to seize today and do what I can, right? So that's really kind of what fires me is the fact that I may not be here tomorrow.
Right. And Loretta, I don't think it's morbid. I think it's a good reminder because it's the absolute truth for all of us. None of us know how many more days we left. So yeah, that's how I look at it. When I wake up, I just go, "Oh, good, I got another day."
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
you have entitled this first call because you're going to come back next week and we're going to talk again. This one is entitled "Life After Loss." So tell us about yourself. A little bit about your story, and then and then you eventually became a life coach. So, kind of fit in your story and tell us about when you became a coach and how that's going for you.
So the life, my life obviously had to take a big turn, after my husband passed away. And one of the things is, I decided to, I don't know, I set an intention about how I was going to do this, right? So one of the things that's obvious is with grief, well, maybe it's not obviously, but you can't go over it, around it, or under it. You got to go through it. There's only one way.
Right,
through that,
right.
And it's through that tunnel. And so we have different ways. I didn't really want to go through, so I guess I could hold the side of the tunnel and scream, no, I'm not going in. And I suppose I could have done things and faced it lots of different ways, but I just decided, I got 3 kids. I don't want to lose any more. That was like literally, that's almost as good as I could do. Like I am refusing to lose any more than I already have. And so,
right. And what were your kids' ages at that time?
So I had 2 in college, one that had just started college, the middle one, and then my daughter was a senior. This is right before her senior year in high school. Yeah,
okay.
So,
wow.
So, it was her and I here, and it was tough, and it was tough, right? But I just decided, like, I'm not going to lose any more, meaning I wasn't going to lose my health. So I saw other people that weren't so fortunate as me and didn't take care of themselves, and I didn't really want to be a burden. I wanted to be able to support. It's a back and forth thing in grief. You support, they support. It's a sharing of it, but I wanted to be able to be there and be present, and so that's sort of how I started setting my intention for how this was going to go and be open to it. Because I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe I can sprint through it, right? But you can't do that either. So I had to learn.
Right.
My thought was I'm going to go sprint through the tunnel, but that didn't work either. Let me just tell you. So I had to then just also create a spirit of willingness to learn what I needed to learn and feel what I needed to feel. If that makes
right.
Sense.
I like that because others would probably want to numb their pain. You realize you had to go through it, and you made some decisions. You learned by trying not to go too fast that you had to pace yourself through the grief. So you made up your mind. That's what you did. You made up your mind. You were going to handle this a certain way and make decisions, and that's definitely the way to go. And so any of you out there that are listening today that have had loss, that is a wonderful thing what Loretta says. You have to go through the tunnel, but the decision is on you on how you're going to go through the tunnel. Are you going to numb the pain and then draw it out, or are you going to make a decision? And your decision was based on your health and also, I believe, your kids. I think that your children don't want to suffer more loss because of it either. Is that correct?
Yes. I mean, they've already lost their father. I don't want them to lose their mother either. And, in the process, like emotionally or spiritually or anything like that. So I just thought it was really important. Right. Because, honestly, if you numb your way through it, guess where when you wake up, you're back at the beginning of the tunnel again. Yeah. You're going through it.
You haven't gone anywhere. In fact, if you've done anything, you've gone backwards.
It's like Groundhog Day. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
So,
that's right. Now, did you want to share any of your insights into your husband's death? What happened to maybe help some listeners out there that may be going through something similar?
Yeah. So it's brutal already when you have somebody that, dies unexpectedly as a result of, an illness or car accident at, in mid-50s, right? So he was like 55, I think, around there. So, and people have heart attacks and, that kind of thing. But what really sort of changed and cloaked this particular death is that, my husband had succumbed to major back pain and was prescribed a lot of opioids, and he actually became addicted and ended up dying from an overdose. So that also put another, I don't really know, I don't want to say another, lens on things, because there's a stigma around drugs and drug addiction and that kind of thing. Mental illness in general, but then that portion of it, especially, with the drugs addiction. So it complicated, it complicated a lot of things. So typically people don't do well with grief and death. So the people that they want to, they come in, they love on you and support you, and then they leave because they can't really just handle death in general. But if you add on the complexity of, a drug addiction, so, do we tell people, do we not? And honestly, at the time, we decided not to really just be public about it. I've recently changed my position on that. And the reason is because I feel like I can help people.
Exactly.
That it's happening more and more and more in this country, unfortunately. And so the ones left behind, need support, and they need to, have help, resources to get through it. So if I can help anybody in any way, that they've been through this, it's nothing to be ashamed of, and it's a sad thing, but it's nothing to be ashamed of for the people that are left behind. And
Right. And that's why what I think is beautiful, Loretta, you're using you're finding your voice about this to use it for the good of other people, because there are people out there that are listening now that perhaps their partner, or perhaps they have, a problem with the drug addiction that stemmed from having pain. And so what impact does a drug addiction or overdose have in the years leading up to his death? And then afterwards and now, what impact does that have on you?
Well, I think anybody that has experience with any kind of addiction, the first death occurs when the person becomes addicted. Because when you're escaping, and we say numbing, but I mean this is numbing to the extreme, right? And that person is gone. Like literally gone. Maybe same body, but the personality's gone, the energy's gone. They even smell differently. I mean, they're completely a different person than who, you first were with or had a relationship with. So I always I kind of have summed it up over the years now, thinking no, he died one time first spiritually, right? And then when he actually had his physical death, that was death number 2, right? It was the physical piece. And if somebody has a heart attack, they're the spiritual and the physical die at the same time, right? Do you know what I'm saying? So we had to. I had to go through and I'm assuming my kids too had to go through 2 waves of it, right? And same thing about the whole. This whole stigma and we got to stay away from people. I don't know to this day if people, don't come around because of the death of my husband, or was it because of the overdose, right? So you have to then you have to look back, and you look and you say, well, geez, could I have done more? There's a lot of additional
How do you keep? Yeah, Loretta, how would you keep yourself from? Could have I done more? And was he open to working on it, or how did that go? And did you try and get him help, or did he refuse help?
Yeah. So he participated in a couple of programs, here from home, and then eventually went to a rehab for 30 days. And I followed the protocol, right? I did a lot of research, and I'm familiar with, me personally, I had